We get done with SEER, and then unfortunately you have to leave the beautiful state of Washington in the best possible time of the year, and we're headed back towards Texas. So
yeah,
we get back down here. What was the next step for you?
So we get back to Texas, and they just stood up the new program a little while back called the FTU, and two different phases. The first phase is 16 weeks, and it's pretty much it's at Camp Bullis, and north side of San Antonio. So if you guys haven't been familiar with Bullis, it's more hills in Texas than I thought. Definitely didn't know that.
Right? You get to that. Yeah, you get to that north end of San Antonio, and you're like, "Holy crap! There's actually hills up here." I could have used these in the land nav portion, but they were nowhere to be found.
Actually, that's the beginning of our kind of JTAC sims and everything. So we start doing our sims, but we're also at the same time doing our shoot, move, and communicate. I guess you would kind of the best equivalent to it would pretty much be the Air Force's version of like a mini Ranger school. So we had our Green Beret guys there that were tasked for us, and they were literally just giving us battle movements, how to move in like a squad or a platoon, how to do CQB, how to do like mounted patrols and all this good stuff. That way we can integrate with our counterparts and learn that. So that was a cool experience. But that was kind of the first time we got treated as, I guess we call it, get treated like big boys. So we come out of the schoolhouse, and now we're like, it's on us. Nobody's telling us, hey, if you don't show up, now we're coming to find you and going to smoke you. It's no, hey, you're treated like a big boy, so your big boy rules. If you don't show up, we don't need you. So it's more on you and your team to kind of be like, hey, grow up. This is your hot time. This is where you need to be. This is what you got to know by this time. It's on you now.
Yeah, absolutely. And how was that? Because a lot of people have a real hard time making that transition. They're kind of like waiting for people to feed them information. But the way that we do that, or the reason we do that, is because nobody is going to give you that information in the real world, man. Like when you get onto a team, people are just going to assume like, hey, you're the JTAC. You got to show up, be on time, be on target, be ready to go, and be ready to train. So how did you keep the dudes focused during that? Because it feels like it's not as restrictive, but it's actually more restrictive because it's on your person. It's on you individually every single day. Somebody isn't just directing you to what to do. So how'd you keep the dudes focused?
Man, I was very fortunate. Whenever I went to the FTU for phase one, I had a couple more O's that were embedded in my team. So at this point, we had 5 O's on our team, and then I had a new, a higher enlisted guy than I was. And his background really helped as well. So we all kind of coexisted. Now, as far as us transitioning, it was just another day for us. All of this got college. We got prior experience. But as far as the younger guys, you really seen where it was like the younger guys sometimes are like, hey, what am I supposed to do?
What do I do with my hands?
Yeah, what do I do with my hands? Like, hey, where am I supposed to be at? Hey, what am I supposed to have? So to me, I think it was a great thing for them because that's kind of by design. The schoolhouse, all you have to do is just turn into a robot and just do what they tell you to do and go. Now, when you get to phase one of the FTU, you really get that chance to understand, hey, look, you got to think for yourself. You got to read through the lines, understand what you need, and transition. You're a big boy now. And that was cool because I think they really needed that. And that was awesome. Now, one thing I will say that helped us out a lot too, and this was just our team personally, and I'm thankful that we had this on our team, but us as the leadership on the team, we decided it was going to be a good idea for like every 2 to 3 weeks, we would have like an inter-team peer reviews. So we would not necessarily strat each one of us like, hey, what your ranking is, but we would give everybody in the team, we'd sit in our team room, and then one person at a time goes to the podium, and then we'd give each person on the team 30 seconds. 30 seconds to tell this guy what he's doing good, what he's doing wrong, what he needs to fix, and that right there opens a lot of eyes because obviously you don't want to hear the bad things about you, what you're doing, but that changed our total mindset, and that it changed us like, oh, hey, I didn't know that I had that problem. I didn't know that me being 2 minutes early was not actually being early. I'm kind of late because everybody else is 15 minutes early, me losing my gear kind of screwed everybody or something like that. So that really helped us out and kind of helped those younger guys too in the situation and transition from being told what to do all the time to now taking accountability of their own things.
When people hear stuff like that, they assume that it's this thing where it's adversarial or you're doing it to be mean. I have found that when you have those open, honest communication amongst the team, like when you have those, we call them 360s on this side of the fence, but when you have those peer reviews or those 360 evals, I feel like it brings the team closer. I feel like you guys are able to look at each other and go, oh man, I was screwing this up. Thanks for that input. Did you guys find that from those 360s?
Definitely. I know myself personally, I really did, because in the Army, we didn't really do that. I mean, you do your
Oh yeah.
action reviews and everything, but we didn't really do like a, hey, your personal peer review. But getting that, it was kind of hard for me at first. I didn't really like, the negative feedback I was getting, because
Right. Yeah.
that's my personality. I'm more of a
Yeah.
personality. I don't like to be told that I'm wrong, obviously, but
You and me both, brother. It
but
hurts. It hurts that ego to hear those things.
it did. And I had a very good NCO on my team, and he was like, hey, brother, look, you're squared away as far as like an NCO. You're squared away is like, you're always like pushing yourself, but there are things that you need to fix. And one of them is just being able to understand how to take that criticism and understand that we're not being rude to you. We're not being mean to you. Honestly, this negative feedback, we're saying that because we want you to be better. So when I looked through it from those point of view, I was like, you know what? Hey, maybe he's right. And then once I started taking that feedback, man, the whole team, it was just like we grew quicker together, and we were by far one of the strongest teams that ever come through the whole FTU as a whole, just because we had those. Yeah.
Got it, man. That's awesome. And I guarantee the floor of I just hearing how you're describing it, I wouldn't ever dare say that I've been a leader on those teams, but I've been a team member on those teams, and you can feel the floor of the team raising. You can feel your professionalism go up. You can feel your performance go up. All of those things, you can feel that you're on the right trajectory to make those things happen. So comparatively from the apprentice course, now we're in FTU, and we talked about the transition of what it was like from the apprentice course to the phase one. What was the most surprising thing that you saw in phase one, other than obviously being treated like you were an actual adult human?
Let's see. To me, it was the camaraderie of the team. Like, don't get me wrong, you're close at schoolhouse because you're always with each other. But as far as like understanding each other, learning each other, and learning each other's strengths and weaknesses. So obviously you had those peer reviews we were talking about, but we also learned where everybody has a strength, everybody has a weakness. But we would develop team study sessions. Our team itself, we just wanted to have like we'd go home and create sims for ourselves just to run it through. And for me, I was just like, man, that's an awesome thing, because I don't see other teams doing that. And we dang sure didn't do that in the schoolhouse. So when we got there, when we got here, it was like, yeah, we got to pass. And not only do I want to pass as an individual, but I want to bring all these teammates with me as well. So what do? We create team study sessions. I had buddies that were calling me like, hey, you got 15 minutes to go through a 9-line? I'm like, yeah, rip it, go, and we're ripping 9 lines, and it's the weekend, I'm sitting at the bar, and one of my buddies is like, give me a 9-line through the phone. I'm like, yep, cool.
I mean, go ahead. This might not be the best feedback because it's a little bit late, but yeah, go ahead. Send it, baby.
Go for rebacks when able. So yeah. But just developing that team chemistry and being able to everybody wanted to be better. And that was what was so cool, because like everybody seen the kind of like, not really seen the finish line, but they already had the beret, but now they're like, now I got to hold it. I got to get better every day. How do I get to that end stage? And the way to bring everybody to that end stage the best way possible was just, hey, we always got to keep grinding, keep getting it, and keep finding a new way to train and get better.
Yeah. Was there any distinct end to phase one of the FTU? Like, was there a culmination event, or was there some sort of outbreak? And if so, just go into it.
So the final thing for us at phase one was the 14-mile ruck, and it sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, this comes from a guy that I've been rucking for almost 11 years. I enjoy rucking, but I did not enjoy this one. Of course, I was battling a little bit of pain. I had a little bit of back strain stuff, but it's one of those things where you just push through it. Everybody's got those days where you're hurt, but you still got to roll through it because of the team. And but that culminating event was obviously where we do a 14-mile ruck right before we go into a last week of field. And that 14-mile ruck is pretty much all over Camp Bullis, and you're rucking. I want to say just dry weight is like almost. Just dry weight is like, I don't know, it's like 80 pounds, and it's no doubt. And of course you got all your water and all your other gear and all that good stuff too. But that was the thing. Once you got past that finish line and you seen it, it was just like, all I have to do is make it through field. All I have to do is make it through field. And it was one of those things where you had a little bit of a weight taken off of you, but then it was just like, hey, one more sim, make it through field, and then I'm good to go to strike phase,
Yeah, and that's what you got to do, man. Sometimes it's all you can do to get to lunch. Sometimes it's all you can do to get to that next event. Sometimes it's all you can do to get to the next mile. And I'm glad that you found a way through it. How many teammates did you graduate with out of phase one before you went to strike? So we were like 30. So did you lose anybody in that first phase?
So yeah, I want to say on team in phase one, we started out with 24.
Okay.
A couple of guys were like held back for some other reason as far as physicals or whatever happened. But when we started phase one, we started with 24 people. And then actually in block four, I say that, yeah, block four of phase one at the FTU, we had one guy had like a family emergency in the
Okay.
field. So he had to kind of get washed back. So we graduated with 23 people, which was awesome, man. Because like you said, there was times where everybody felt like, I mean, everybody always is like, man, why am I doing this? This sucks. You know,
Oh yeah.
when you're in that pain train and you're like 8 miles in and you know you just come over the hump of halfway, you still got 6 miles left. It's just like, okay, next mile I'll quit. Next mile I'll quit.
Yep.
Next mile I'll quit. And you just push through. But being able to sit back and finally get through that and then watch all the other boys get through as well, because you at this point we've been together for almost 2 years, you know, so like they're brothers, like you said. So seeing that happen and all 23 of us making it through and then coming to phase two, it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, and I hear so much of, you know, you always want to connect with somebody that you're talking to, right? I just hear so much of my own stories and my own feelings, and not to make it about myself. But I hear those reflections about what you're talking about, man. I just couldn't agree more.